Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Myth Busting Mondays. And for this episode, guys, the final myth is really crazy. You want to hear it? Here it goes, my friends. The final myth is, can you melee zombies through walls? Through walls. Not just any sort of surface, but solid physical walls within the game. This is going to end up being some next level, like, hackery type of stuff if we can manage to get this to work. But you never know. So as I always say, I hope you guys end up looking for today's video. If you do, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe to show your guys' support. But yeah, everybody, I hope you look forward to this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Myth: can you kill a tank by crushing it with elevator doors? Okay guys, so myth number one to start off the episode is going to be submitted in by Vader, and this is actually a really cool myth, Vader. I like it because, believe it or not, we have had no myths on the series yet, specifically relating to elevators. So this is a good place to start, I like it. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to take all the different types of elevator doors that are in Left 4 Dead and just crush them on the tank. So there's going to be the normal elevators that everyone expects, which is going to be the one that are on like Dead Center, for example. There's also going to be some other unique ones, such as the ones that are going to end up being on Hard Rain, which drop vertically. And then we've also got the funky weird ones like on the passing that technically just fall straight down and don't exactly have a door, rather just a open space. But we're going to test them all just to be sure because each elevator may react differently. Alright guys, so here is us trying to slam the door on the tank on the first elevator in Dead Center. And even though you might not necessarily be able to see it that well from this angle, the tank on this specific elevator did indeed get crushed. Here is going to end up being some of the other guys' perspectives, so that way you guys can see that the tank did indeed die. And now here it is on the passing campaign. Now the passing campaign's elevator is really unique because there's technically not a door. Like I said, it's kind of more rather just an open space. So this one didn't crush the tank, but I figured that one was going to be a given. But there is still one more that does have a door, which is the Hard Rain one. So here's the Hard Rain elevator door. Like I said, it's also vertical compared to horizontal. But for some reason, this one does not crush the tank. The tank actually will just get pushed out back into the map, and we will just go down the elevator per normal. So I think that it must be something with an invisible barrier, perhaps, treating this elevator different than the one that we have on Dead Center. So let's test something a bit further. Even though this might be redundant, let's test identical looking elevators on not only No Mercy, but also the finale of Dead Center, because the Dead Center one should be just pretty much a copy and paste asset. So when you take a look at that, the No Mercy elevator, even though it looks and functions the same as the one on Dead Center's beginning chapter, the tank actually doesn't die on this one. He just gets pushed inside the elevator with us. Which is weird because at the naked eye you would think because it looks the same it would function the same, but that was just not the case. Now finally we got the last elevator, so we're going to close it on the tank now, and just like No Mercy, he just gets in the elevator with us. He does not die. So this is interesting. Even though we can have multiple different elevators, and even some that look the exact same, the only one we are consistently able to kill the tank with is the Dead Center one that is on Chapter 1. This is the only one that we were able to get this to happen with. Now this very well just could be a fluke, this could be game design, this could be a Easter egg, this could be a glitch, this can be a variety of different things. I have zero idea why it's only this elevator, but this is what I know for sure, is that since only one of the 5 elevators work, and this myth does not specify any particular elevator, I believe it would be best to leave this myth at plausible. Since it ends up working for one elevator, it wouldn't be busted, but because of the lack of specification, I don't want to say that this just works for all of them as a whole, because the ratio is 1 to 5, where only just the one specific part of Dead Center is the only one where you can do this strategy if you want to try to replicate this. So I think it's best left at plausible, and now let's move on to myth number 2. Myth: can you start the passing finale without being on the elevator? Okay guys, the second myth was submitted in by Dan. Now Dan is trying to see if we can replicate a video that he saw from back in the day, where in the video you end up activating the passing elevator, but you get off of it so quickly you're essentially not on it, and instead you can just camp back in the safe room. Now, instead of explaining this, I think it would be better just to show you. So I'm just going to show you all of Dan's gameplay that he got for me, where he ends up playing on an older version of Left 4 Dead, where you can actually do this. And then he plays on the current day version of Left 4 Dead and seeing if it's still possible. So the way that you have to do this is you have to have a frag round gun, preferably a shotgun, and you have to hit the button to activate the elevator while looking at this part of the wall. and if you shoot while hitting the button, the frag rounds will cause you to end up flinching backwards, so that way you can end up being stunned off of the elevator, therefore allowing you to just stay in the safe room. So what ends up happening if we try to do this on the current version of Left 4 Dead 2? Is this something that's still in the game, or does it get patched out? And it looks like from the gameplay that it must have been patched out, because you can see that from the gameplay, Dan was trying so hard to get away, but it looked like that there was this invisible force that was sucking him back into the elevator, therefore meaning that he wasn't able to escape and had to commit to the finale. So it looks like this got patched out for a variety of different reasons. I assume the main one just preventing griefers. But yeah, it looks like that the second myth is busted today, guys. It seems that you cannot do this glitch anymore, but it looks like you can do it as long as you have an old version of the Left 4 Dead game. It's just that you have to know where to download it. Myth: can you run over a tank with a truck in the Crash Course finale? Okay guys, myth number 3 is submitted in by Ace of Spades, and we're just going to get everything started, everybody. So we are in the Crash Course truck now. We have a crap ton of tanks, as you guys can see, but when we're hitting them, I don't think we're really running them over. I think we're rather taking them with us, because I don't see any dead bodies. I just see the tanks running at the speed of the truck, which is terrifying, honestly. But yeah, I did not see any dead tanks. I only saw ones that looked more horrifying while they were sprinting at the speed of the truck. So I think that this myth is busted. For some reason, the Crash Course truck can't kill tanks. Maybe it's because of the fact that it's in a cutscene when this thing takes off. But yeah, that was myth number 3. Let's move on to myth number 4. Myth: can you catch a teammate from falling to their death by having them land on your head? Okay guys, so myth number 4 is going to be submitted in by Glabursco. Now, we have had similar myths to this. For example, some of them have been, but are not limited to, trying to end up catching a teammate by using the revive functionality, trying to end up catching a teammate, or saving yourself rather, by using a defib, and there's also lastly, trying to end up catching somebody midair with a smoker's tongue. So we've tried to do a variety of different things to negate fall damage in this game. But here's the thing, when it comes to this method in particular, you're not really using any outside force to interfere with the natural just fall damage of the game. You are just counting on the fact that your teammate is going to end up being a solid object and making it so that way they're not intangible, and so that way you don't just plummet directly into the ground. We tried to give ourselves the best odds possible by just having the bots stand next to us and make it where we kind of end up doing, you know, crowd surfing in real life. How that when you fall off the stage because there's so many people that you hitting the ground is far unlikely from happening, as long as at least people catch you. But the thing is though, is within Left 4 Dead, that strategy doesn't exactly work because nobody's putting their arms up in the sky. You're kind of just counting on them using their foreheads. And so this idea was good in theory, but bad in practice. Since you can't control your hands exactly in Left 4 Dead, there's zero way to end up modifying the game by just standing there. So because this myth was simplistic in itself, it didn't really give us a lot to work with, which means that the 4th myth is going to end up being busted. You cannot catch a survivor with your head and allow them to live. I mean, if you did, you must have a fucking forehead made of iron or titanium or something like that, because I've never met somebody with that strong of a forehead. Myth 4 is going to be busted, and that means that it's time to move on to the final myth. Alrighty guys, here comes the final myth, and once again it's going to be, can you kill zombies with melee weapons through walls? Let's do this. Myth: can you kill zombies with melee weapons through walls? Okay guys, the final myth is going to be submitted in by Tyler. Now the way that we are going to do this, guys, we're going to be using Special Infected, because some of the Special Infected are so big, like for example, the tank, and that makes it so that way we can end up hitting them through the walls, sort of, because they can end up kind of extending through the walls. Their hitbox is just so big and their body is so bulky that a body part like an arm or something may just be sticking out just randomly in the map somewhere. But see, I feel like that would be too easy. I'm pretty sure you guys would love to see if we could hit a smaller infected like a witch, and also have it be through something like, for example, solid concrete versus, like, let's say a wooden shack. So I'm going to try to do this with the witch here right now and end up hitting her with a machete. And for those that thought, regardless of how bogus this myth sounds, for those that thought this myth was confirmed, you are indeed right. I just did it now with the witch on a piece of concrete. And it was cool because I was not expecting this. See, it's one thing if the tank or the special infected themselves are the ones that are going through the wall. But what all of us really want is we want to be the ones going through the wall. We want to have it where there's no ligaments sticking out. We just want to swing our weapon and be able to make contact. And for certain textures and certain special effect, if you get the right combo, it works. And by the way, everybody, I know that there is also going to be some of you that are going to mention the flashlight and how that the flashlight may have actually been what ended up pissing the witch off in the first place. And I can reassure you that the witch was not pissed off by our flashlights. It was indeed that we were hitting her with the melee weapon. You can take a look at, once again, the prior clip and also the clip that I just showed you guys, where I'm ending up hitting a witch and she's not raising her arms and she's not freaking out. She's just standing there crying, and then as soon as I end up swinging my melee weapon, that is at the point that she gets pissed. So once again, game logic triumphs normal logic, and this myth is going to end up being confirmed. You can end up mailing zombies through walls in Left 4 Dead 2. Who would have thought? But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays, and I do truly hope you guys ended up enjoying it. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe, follow, and all that beautiful stuff. If you have a myth of your own that you would like to have be featured in next week's episode, just please put them in the comment section down below, or even put them in our Discord, where there's a custom Myth Busting Mondays tab just created for this series. If you guys also would like to financially support the channel, I would tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It is always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions. Please also use my supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite and Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor and they are sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. But yeah, guys, I hope you end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers you're ever going to see. Thanks for watching, guys. I love all of you, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!